screen, let me tell you about the wonderful Sandra. And I even have a story of Sandra. So that's going to kind of like add to the intrigue and the excitement of this.
Of course.
Sandra is a seasoned sales and management professional with small business owner experience in a variety of industries. Sandy has spent the last 8 years in the learning and development space. She launched her own firm, Human Power Solutions. Just think about the beauty of the name of that company. In December 2019, it's been an immediate success due to her network and focus on client experience. Sandy's ability to network, serve others, and connect people is a large part of her success. Quote unquote, story coming. Sandy earned her master's in organizational leadership from Nichols College in 2018 and a BS in chemistry from Assumption University. She lives in Northbridge, Mass, and is a mother of 3 adult children, 2 grandchildren, and has 5 siblings. Now my story. Sandra recently moved into a new home, and Sandra didn't know anybody in the neighborhood. So what happens typically if you move into a new neighborhood? You kind of hope that you eventually meet people and get to know and get acclimated to the neighborhood. Not Sandra. What Sandra did was she printed out a flyer and walked throughout the entire neighborhood, put it in everyone's mailbox, knocked on their door, and invited them to a home warming gift at her house. So the greatest way to create a network and a group of people is to go around and invite them to your own home warming party. And I went to that party with my wife, Donna, and it was spectacular. I just thought that was one of those things that makes Sandra incredibly unique. The floor is yours.
Mike. I appreciate that. A funny story is my neighbor that lives across the street actually was at the town hall and I was doing something there. She's like, neighbor. I'm like, neighbor. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, but it was really fun. It was really, really great time. So my name's Sandra Coker and formerly Kearney. For those of you guys that don't know, I recently got married. And if you have the ability to come off of the camera, that would be awesome. If you have the ability to come off mute, we are going to have a discussion on this one here today. So I'd love to see your faces, but if not, I totally understand that. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. So I took an approach here on the Delegate or Drown by thinking about your businesses and the different ways that you can improve your businesses through your most important assets, which are your employees. So if you think about you hire a virtual assistant or you hire someone through Aaron's company or, however you're doing it, the way that business is going to work and the way you're going to save time is by empowering your employees to help you get to that next level. So when the topic for me is elevate, engage, and evolve. So that's what you're doing here. You want to elevate your businesses, you want to engage your employees, and you want to evolve to what's coming next, to the changes that are coming that are fast and furious in our business world. So here, if I think about elevate, what is elevate? Does anybody want to share what they think elevate your business means?
Create more than you have now.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's creating more than you have right now. So it's taking your business to a higher position or a higher state, right? So, you're going to improve business operations, you're going to improve product quality, customer service, leadership, and all of that is done through your employees. And you have to be able to train them so they can take stuff off of your plate. That's a really big thing here. So as you set your high standards and you get your fundamental settings for where you want to be, that's where your company's going to grow and you're going to be excellent. But you have to rely on the people that are working with you and you have to trust them. That's the most key thing with delegation as we talk about, right? So think about where you are right now, reflect on your current standards and write down for just a moment or type in the chat what some areas of improvement are that you would like to elevate in your own company. Thinking about the importance of clear benchmarks, regular evaluations, things that you always stay in touch with your employees in order to not run into the problems that waste your time, right? Our employees can be our biggest asset, but man, they can waste a lot of time if things are going wrong. And so if you take that time to elevate them, to help you elevate your business, it's going to be a game changer for you. So innovation to stay competitive, they have the ideas. It's not always up to you to come up with all the ideas to elevate your business. Trust your people to be innovative. Trust your people to understand where they are, right? Foster that culture of innovation and encourage creativity. Maybe it doesn't work. That's okay, right? Maybe it does. That's even better. So it's really helping your employees to do that, and having that continuous improvement type of mentality, right? So if you value continuous learning for both you and your team members, you help them with that learning culture. You either do training and development with them, you do a book club if you wanted to, something along those lines. A learning culture is where you can improve your performance, stop wasting time, and really getting people to get to where you want to be, right? So like looking in here with elevation, you're growing all the time. So Catherine, talk about that. What does that mean to you when you're taught, when you are, what does that mean to you, Catherine?
Oh, she's not muted, or she's muted.
Oh, she's muted still. Okay. Okay. So Erin, when you talk about this, you're stepping back to run your business, everything's gotten better. So talk about that. How do they help you elevate?
Well, because at first I was just saying, like, I first hire the right people. So you got to start there, right? But because the people that I'm hiring, I mean, they're coming in with expertise and experience that is very diverse and unique and different, obviously, than mine. And so by allowing them to own and have own their role, have accountability, they're infusing better solutions than I could have come up with, you know. And we also are very collaborative. So we lean on each other, and just that brainstorming of an idea, like someone will throw out one thought, maybe that's not the right solution, but then that'll spark a thought from someone else. And I'm just realizing the more that I kind of like step back and let them own it, they're getting more buy-in, they're more invested, and they're coming up with like solutions that they know will ultimately impact the whole team, right? Not just themselves. So they're more thoughtful about them too. So yeah, it's been amazing to both watch and be a part of. I'm like a total proud mama bear of my team.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you give your employees that kind of power, and they're able to save you some time. Yes, it's a little bit of investment in your employees. It's a little bit of investment in time. But if you take that time for anyone, whether they're a vital assistant, whether they're part-time, whatever that is, it's teaching them and trusting them. So we talk a lot about the trust tree, and got you start 1 to 10, right? And when you meet somebody, we all have a trust scale of how much we trust people. I'm a 9. I meet you, I love you. If you burn me, you're dead to me, right? So I'm disappointed to the ends of the earth, right? If you start off in the trust scale where you're not sure if you really trust people right away, and you start off in that little way of like, I don't know if I do. If they disappoint you, you're not that disappointed. You expected it. Right. So, you know, when you're thinking about your employees, and when you're thinking about trusting them to help you elevate and innovate, that's, you know, you've got to see where you are in that realm. Catherine, you're able to come off mute. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Oh, thank you for letting me speak up. I really appreciate what you're sharing, because recently I heard someone who were literally not able to delegate, but changing his own life by trusting the employee, the assistants, everything, and eventually the assistant become a COO of the company. I think it was amazing. And you just say exactly that can be possible with the skill, with your experience. I'm very excited to know more how we can empower someone to be all the way up to the very top, you know?
Right.
I love that. Thank you.
Yes.
So let's think about an example. Who practices Elevate? A company that you would probably, many of you may or may not know, but Buffer. Buffer is a social media management platform that is you can actually put your posts on Buffer, and it will post it to all of your different social media platforms. We use it in our company, and it really works well. But what they do is they're constantly elevating, they're updating their software, they're looking to their employees to help with the new features. They're getting feedback from their clients, and they're sharing their journey. They're transparent. And that's a company that, you know, started off really small, and now they're really utilized. They were able to elevate by utilizing their employees' knowledge and getting feedback and being transparent to both their clients and their employees. It's just, again, another great example of a company that's elevating. The next thing we want to talk about is engagement. We talk a lot about employee engagement. What does that mean to you guys? You know, why is it important? Why is employee engagement important? You can put it in the chat if you'd like to. Go ahead.
You're talking my jam, Sandy. I don't want to be the only one talking here, but this is like, I just salivate over these topics. So it's really important for so many reasons, but one that I know and I've seen with our clients is the more engaged their employees are, the more the owner can focus on what their unique ability is or their zone of genius or whatever that is, because then their engaged employees are able to they're more invested, right? Like they're more invested in either the service or the success of the company or whatever that is. And so I've seen our clients even go so far as to be able to take 3 months off a year to both either work on projects like passion projects, stepping out of the business, because their engaged employees are basically running the business for them.
Right.
So the engagement can really elevate your business.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about client engagement. We think that that's what we're looking for, our client and customer engagement. But our team dynamics and the overall business success does rely on our team engagement. That's really what it's all about. So as a leader, as someone that runs your company, someone that wants to save some time, you know, building that strong relationship, building that cohesion. It's funny, I'm working currently with a manufacturing company with frontline supervisors, and we're working with them, and there's 3 different floors that they're working in. And each floor didn't know what the other floor is doing. And we're doing this supervisory training, we're doing skill building, but it's really team building. And last week, one of the guys that runs the warehouse, he's like, you know, I knew who Nisa was. She was on the 3rd floor. I'd see her, but I didn't really know her. He's like, now I feel like we're just part of a team. That's what it's all about. Now the owner feels comfortable that all the 3 floor supervisors, the leads, they're all coming together. They all understand what each floor does. And it's made life so much easier because they're able to delegate and give something to someone and trust that they're going to do it. And there's less infighting. There's less of that conflict that goes on when you foster that employee engagement. And you think about, you know, active listening. What is active listening? Active listening is really, it's the cornerstone of engagement, right? A lot of times we listen to respond, right? We do that all the time. We're like, oh, well, you know, I'm going to think about what I'm going to say, right? But that's not what it's all about at all. Active listening is about listening to what they're saying and how you can help them. So a lot of times, you know, we don't listen to our employees because we're busy and we don't, you know, and then something goes wrong. So guess what? There goes your time. You're fixing an issue. Whereas if you just stopped what you're doing, turned, faced them, engaged in a conversation, really listened, you know, both in the underlying concepts as well as what they're saying, because sometimes people say and they mean something different, right? And really understanding that will save you time in the long run. And that also opens up more trust and open communication, which saves you time. Doesn't, you know, you don't drown. You know that you can count on people and they know they can count on you. You know, the worst thing that you can do is have an environment where people don't trust the managers or each other, and all the stuff goes on underneath the surface, right? And you're fixing problems, you're fixing conflicts. So some of the tips for fostering engagement is having some of those coffee times. Even if you're a virtual team, you know, you can open up your Teams channel for a coffee hour, you know, or open up a lunch channel and have the TV on in the lunchroom so people can pop in. Whatever that looks like, make sure that you do something that's fun and together. And, you know, a lot of us during COVID were doing like bingo after work or things like that. People don't want to do that anymore. That's not a thing, but you can certainly do something fun during lunchtime or have a quick break or something along those lines. There's lots of ways that you can get your people engaged and really understanding what they're looking for. I am a proponent. If you don't know what your culture is, if you're feeling that culture of disengagement, people just not really wanting to do the work, do an employee engagement survey, find out what's going on, hire a company to do that for you. So think about those kinds of strategies. And in the chat, if you guys wouldn't mind just typing in, what are some strategies that you use for engagement of your employees? Yes, a good monthly salary does work sometimes, Angelica, but people are really looking for more than that these days. You know, they are looking for more team building and more engagement. Anybody else have any good ideas? Virtual cooking class, love that. Yeah. My favorite, why are you great? That's a great question. Every time Mike opens up his mastermind, that's what he says, right? This is really good stuff, guys. Okay. Quarterly socials, fantastic. Yeah. We do an end of the year holiday party where we bring everybody together, all of our partners, all of our employees, all of our 1099s, everybody. Tom, you went to that. It was fun. We had a good time. So
It was a great time. Yep.
yeah, we did some bowling and things like that. So who
Just
practices
competing with them.
engagement? A company called Zappos. Everyone know what Zappos is? I'm a shoe lover. I love shoes. You can look at my closet. It's ridiculous. But they're an online shoe and clothing retailer, right? They're known for their customer service and company culture. Why do they have exceptional customer service? Because they have exceptional company culture. Company culture is the key to service. If your employees aren't happy, your customers aren't happy. Guess what wastes a lot of time? Calling customers that aren't happy, right? So your employees are the key to your clients and your customers, getting the best service. If they're miserable, if they feel like they're not being treated well, if there's some infighting and things like that, if they're on the phone with a client, that comes through. If they're sending an email to that client, that comes through. It absolutely comes through. So, when you engage your employees, you have a strong company culture and encourage that personal wellness, the mental health aspect of it. I was talking to my assistant yesterday and she's like, I'm crazy. I said, get up from your desk. I'm not there with you, but get up from your desk, go and do something that you want to do. Don't feel like you're tied here. Give people permission to be able to do that, and give people permission to set boundaries. That's important as well. So that really helps to lead to a highly engaged team. So Zappos is one of those other companies too that does that. The last point I want to bring about is just evolve. You should evolve your business. You have to have your employees need to be engaged. They need to be empowered, right? So you want to be talking with them about the changes that are coming, right? Our businesses, like my business started off, it was just me, just little old me, right? And it's grown over the last 4 years to, we have a team of people, and I have people that are there, right? It's changed. It's become more complex, right? So when you think about the nature of business and the change and how quickly it is, we have so many opportunities, and people look at change as threatening. Oh my gosh, there's change coming, right? There's no reason to think that way. Change is an opportunity. Whether it's good change or bad change, it's all an opportunity. I've been through all the good and the bad and the ugly, and we can talk about that another day. But you want to think about I'll give you a quick story. My second, third business, I owned a fitness center, and I had no business owning a business, none. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I got offered this business, so I'm just going to do it. And I had no idea what I was doing. A Planet Fitness was down the street, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I had a lot of people look at the deal and like finances and everything, because I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I wanted this business. And so they're like, yep, great deal. You go for it. I was a personal trainer. I was going to bring my clients up, and all that stuff. And I had 300 members I was going to start off with, and then bring my clients up. I'm golden. Well, first month of business, my first month of billing, I had 88 people paying out of the 300, because the company before me sold 1-year memberships. They pre-sold 1-year memberships. So I'm stuck with these members, not making a dime, right? Scary, scary stuff. So I cried for 3 months, sat down with my mentor and went to lunch with him. And I can't tell you enough about that. And he looked at me and he goes, stop crying, get to work. That's what he said to me. And I was like, okay. Sold it 7.5 years later, at a profit. And it was great. But businesses has changed, right? If you think about the fitness industry now, I couldn't even imagine it, but it's continuing to evolve. All businesses will evolve, right? So it's a mindset. So when you're thinking about your business, when you think about your business changing and your employees changing, you have to be the one to set the mindset. We're going to change. It's constantly going to grow. What does all these things do? It reduces turnover. What does turnover do to your business? You're starting all over again all the time. You don't have that well-oiled machine of people that can do the work that they need to do. You're constantly training, you're spending a lot of money on all of that kind of thing. So if you work with your people to help them grow, get them engaged, and empower them, gosh, your life, you will have that 4-hour work week, because you'll be able to spend that time selling, networking, building your partnerships, doing all the things that you need to do next level. Your employees are everything. I can't stress that enough. So you have to be, your mindset has to be good with change. So if you don't like change, get over it. You shouldn't be in business, go work for corporate America. That's my opinion, right? Because being an entrepreneur, like Bijay said, it's this up and down roller coaster, right? It's not for the weak of heart, right? So you have to understand AI's here, whatever else is here. There's training companies galore. People do what I do all day long. We do it better. I know that, right? But that's a mindset that I have, right? So for you, it's helping your employees build their resilience and change mental mindset. And that's really what you can do for your companies. So think about the different aspects of your business that you might want to evolve. Are you evolving with the social media? Are you afraid of AI, or are you embracing AI for what it can do for your business for time saving, right? Think about all this innovation and change. My mother's 82 years old. She has more technology than I do. I go to her house and I'm like, Ma, where did you get this TV? Like, it's crazy, but she has that mindset of just keep going. So, I think it's really important for all of us to do that. So when you evolve, you dominate, right? Netflix, they were a DVD rental company, right? Everyone hear Blockbuster? No more. Now everybody's on Netflix. They adapted, understood the market trends. They taught their people what they needed to do. They invested in their technology, and they allowed their, one person isn't creating all that content on Netflix, right? They're allowing their people to do that. So an evolution can mean domination. Do we have time for breakouts or no?
We have some time for questions. Is
Okay.
that what you're referencing? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine,
absolutely. If anyone has any questions for Sandra, Angelica, did anyone put anything in the chat box? Okay, so there's nothing necessarily there, but I have a question to sort of get it rolling. All the things you're saying, just absolutely love every aspect of it. How do you handle a situation when you go into an organization and you find that the culture is not so great? What are the steps that you take to try and help that company turn around?
Yeah, we start at the top. We definitely start. It definitely comes from the top to figure out what is going on. And sometimes the top isn't the problem. It could be somewhere in the middle where the top just is disconnected from what's going on in the organization. So we do, we definitely do a needs analysis. Some companies would go in and do a 360 and, just kind of everybody gets their feedback from everybody else anonymously. Our philosophy and my philosophy is on servant leadership. We want to create servant leaders. And we always talk about how the CEO and the janitor both go to bed at night. They both wake up in the morning, have their coffee, take out their dog. It doesn't matter where you are. We're all human beings. And I think as we've evolved since COVID, for sure, we've evolved into the fact that we are all humans. And we're getting our CEOs and our executives to understand that now. There are still companies. I had a conversation yesterday and my jaw dropped when I heard this. I was talking to an HR manager of a client. The CEO had called me and said, we need some help for this exact reason. And the HR manager said, well, the COO was asking why slamming fists on the desk was a hostile work environment. And he's like, and if that's a hostile work environment, then crying is a hostile work environment. And I was like, what? Right? It still goes on. What's going on with that company? Their turnover. It's constant. Their executive team has turned over and turned over. Is the company moving? No, it's not. That's the key. And so it really is, Aaron talked about the core values, right? Our first core value in our company is fun. You got to be enjoying yourself, right? Everything else will get done. The mistakes might happen. It happens. It does. So that's what we do. We just go in and try to figure it out.
Awesome. Anyone else have any other questions for Sandra?
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you Oh, did you have something, Erin?
I just needed a minute, to like get
Okay.
the synapses going. No, I'm curious, like, what would you recommend for anybody who, let's say most of the team is engaged, but you've got one outlier, two outliers who just won't, or maybe they just haven't had the right tactic. What kind of strategies would you recommend?
I would do some coaching with them, sit down with them and do some coaching and, find out if they're really happy there, what's going on. A lot of
Right.
times if one person isn't unhappy, a lot of times it's not work related. It's outside of work. So really working on their mental health and making sure that they've set some time aside for themselves. So we'll work holistically with that group. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome. All right. So thank you. So, Bajal, you got something?
I did actually. For a question for Sandra. Sandra, given so many companies are now virtual, or a big percentage of their workforce is virtual, how do you kind of continue to build that culture, that engagement, even online? I mean, there's a lot of things that we do. We have, monthly calls, trainings. We have in-person gatherings, but I still feel that in between all that, some team members, get disengaged. Now, when Mike asked the question, how big is your team? I answered it with 2 letters. So my core team is about 5-6 people. That's the team that manages the business. But then we have about 130 active VAs, a community of 200 VAs. And we're always looking for ways to engage them better. Any suggestions of how you kind of continue to keep people engaged in the culture?
Yeah, with the global teams, we have a hybrid leadership model that we utilize, but a lot of times we form cohorts. If there's a lot of people, we'll form different cohorts of people to help to keep them kind of engaged, and whether that's a lunch group or something along those lines, and move that around every once in a while so people do get to know each other a little bit more. And then obviously doing trainings, doing professional development, helping them to grow together, doing breakout rooms and making sure that they have a time to really connect and learn